make announcements, and we're good to go. Welcome to today's version on November 19th of the Stabilization Brigade meeting. This meeting is recorded, and if I do what I'm supposed to do, it'll also be posted on YouTube, as well as the notes will be posted to the mailing list as well. So just please remember that as we go through discussions, and if you share anything. Please register your attendance in the chat window with an @ here, and we will have you marked down as attending. We do minutes via the chat window, so you'll see @topic as we change topics, and then if you want to add something, you can do an @item and then add whatever you want, and it'll be captured into the minutes as well. All right. I had a call for actions or agenda items yesterday on the chat. I didn't see anybody add anything. Just give everybody a chance right here. Anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda this morning? All right. Given that there aren't any agenda items added other than kind of a quick review of some things, we'll get started. So unit test coverage. Cover edge. There you go. As you can see, we had a nice bump in the Volta LibGo. I think that was mostly to Ken's edition of mocks for the etcd as well as Kafka, and he added a bunch of tests around that, so that's a great bump there. Everything else, not so good. Kind of went down fractionally on the rest of them. So again, we just need to continue an emphasis on unit testing. We are still very, very low on many of these items. And just to reiterate, there was an email I sent out this week. There was a second item, a good bump on LibGo. Others, not so much. All right. I sent out an email earlier this week on the list. There was a question about kind of the purpose of unit tests and whether it's just to get to kind of the 80% mark in coverage, or is there more? And I just want to emphasize in this meeting again, because I may have given a false impression. While 80% code coverage is a goal, it's not the goal of unit testing. As we go through unit testing, it's very important that the unit tests actually cover and test functionality that each unit is trying to accomplish. So we need to be able to call methods or functions on the unit, or a package, if you will, in Go lingo, and ensure that it is returning the expected values. I think some of the mocks for etcd and Kafka will help around that, because we can do a little bit more testing and running of the code to get the values back and forth into the database, for instance. But we need to, on the unit tests, call a function and then check the result values to ensure that the structures or interfaces returned have the data we expect them to have behind them. I did add a couple references to that email just for some best practices after a quick Google to figure out best practices for our unit tests. So just put those out as resources. Any questions on that or comments?
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, David. Hardik here.
Hi.
David, are we kind of planning anything on the Jenkins side? Say, we compare the two test coverage reports, right? What was there earlier and what is has come with the new development, so that if anyone adds the new code, the onus is on that person to add the unit test for that, so that the overall what was there already should not go down.
I've talked about that in the past. Right now, that is the responsibility of code reviewers to ensure that unit tests are merged in with code or added to code submissions. The question when you get to automation around Garrett is, okay, is there a threshold? So if you look at what I've got up on the screen here, right? You know, we got Volta API server went down by 0.8% from last week. Is there a threshold that says, that that we trigger a failure when it goes down or not? I think it's an interesting question. I don't know if if it's enough of a metric to say that we can do Jenkins -1 on it. We had talked originally being able to have Jenkins add some capability to at least notify the reviewers that it went down or not. I don't know where that stands. I haven't talked to Zach about something like that in a while, but it's a valid point. Let me add that to the minutes. Can Garrett check a negative report or -1 when coverage goes lower on code commit? Let me recheck with Zach on that, because it would be nice. I mean, I know I'm guilty of this where I'll submit new code and not submit new unit tests. It's easy to do because you focus on the code, not the unit test, but we need to put more emphasis on the unit test. Thanks. Any other comments?
David, this is Girish. There was another mail chain, right? I think Daniel, initiated, and I replied back on. Actually, there was another. I think potential way of probably ensuring that I think unit tests are written in a uniform way. I'm not sure whether I'm missing something, but I thought if we like introduce interfaces, right, all across, and create mocks for them, and that would allow us to do testing in a better way, right? More standardized way.
Yep. I agree with that. I actually had a chat, I think, with Scott in the background about that, with a comparison between Python mocks and Golang mocks. And you can do a lot of the mocking, but yes, you need interfaces. So in Golang, if you're using structs and methods that are bound to structs as opposed to interfaces, mocking can't be done as easily. So I suspect there are places where we need to reevaluate code to see if an interface should be used and defined to make unit testing easier, I guess, and mocking easier. Yeah.
To that aspect, David and Girish, I make changes in the RW core, and unfortunately, those changes are local, in the sense of I put a lot of things into interfaces, and it's touch a lot of files. Unfortunately, I can't submit any of those right now because there's some other updates that are happening on Garrett, and many of those updates are touching a lot of files as well. And one of them is like make sure SCA run well, in the sense of all those warnings and all those things to go away. So that's a big change. And also there's another one, I believe Thomas is doing, to put error when etcd fails. So once those two big changes go in, then I'm going to put my change in, because otherwise if I put my change in, they will have to redo their change, and I don't want to be that mean to them.
Okay.
But I think the point's well taken that as we add more code to the code base, it would serve us well to make better use of interfaces so that mocks for different capabilities can be implemented for unit testing. I think that's very true.
Yeah, okay. And do you think, let's take one of the easiest component, ensure that all structure, right, have a corresponding interface, and probably do that change once, and because once we do this mocking, right, create interfaces, we have to probably create mocks for that interfaces and using probably mockify, right, and keep it in some mocks folder.
Yes.
and also have some kind of public script we have to create so that somebody modifies the interface, that mocks gets updated, right?
Yep. I would hope that the Garrett verify tests check that, but maybe not. I know there are some unit tests which are checking types of interface, and there's one unit test in, can't remember which package it is now, that does a check around, does this structure still implement this interface?
Okay.
I think once we start defining interfaces, those tests that say, have a quick unit test that says, does this structure still implement this interface, or does it implement the interface? That unit test becomes valuable to capture when someone changed the interface but forgot to add that method to a given struct.
Yeah, they're all in Volta libgo.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, just wanted one clarification on this point. So when we say that we want to do interfaces for each of the structures, so is it only for the structures which are outside the package, or also the structures which are within the same package?
It's within the same package. That's because it's unit testing, right? So we want to go to the details of testing, so it has to be within the package. If there's a need to do something outside the package, why not? That should be included too. The whole point is to really test at a very detailed level every component, whatever it takes.
Yeah. So for the code within the package, do we need to create mocks? Because, as in, we should be able to use the original code itself and test it, right?
Correct. Not everything has to be mocked.
Yeah.
Usually you're mocking services outside that you need.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
But sometimes we have too many things within a package, right? I mean, within the same package,
Yes,
right? Looks
that's
like,
true.
for example, sometimes like if you look at RO code or RW code, right? Under the core folder, we have everything, right? 6 to 7 different classes, and they are all complex. They probably make sense to even mock individual so that I can test only the logical, right, device manager independently, right? Or device manager independently.
Yeah, I think if that makes sense, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I think again, this is where people have to use their own judgment, where it makes sense to create a mock and where it doesn't. So if you're writing, unit tests for one package, and you think, what, I want to zero in and focus only on this package, yeah, then go ahead and mock it. I mean, it's fine. Mock the other one. Just use your judgment. I do think there are. Have we restructured read-write core yet to kind of the same structure API server's been using and every other one else? I don't think we have yet. Directory structure wise, I think I was just looking at it this morning. I don't think it was.
In the package and internal directories.
Yeah, that stuff. Pardon? Scott, has it been done?
No, I said it has not. The package
okay.
and internal directories and stuff like that. It's still in RW core, and the other one's in RO core.
And we have a Python subdirectory too.
Yeah, that just should go elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Python is mostly for OF agent. So if we have an OF agent in Go, then that will automatically go away.
I think the old CLI is also sitting in the Python directory, so that's another thing that at some point we should talk about its future, or lack of.
That's next meeting. Next meeting might mean the TST meeting, 8 o'clock this morning, Pacific time. All right, cool. Any other comments on this? Good discussion. Thank you. All right, moving on. Just to Jira update. You can see we're pretty much steady state in Jira territory, which is okay, I guess. We're resolving more issues than created, but we're still up above 100 in terms of the number of JIRA issues. So what's that mean? It means we're not closing in on 0, I guess, for the end of the year. Again, one of those things, and I think JIRA's, open JIRAs in particular, and patch sets are related. So we still have outstanding patch sets that need to be reviewed, and presumably once they're reviewed and merged, we'll see a significant drop in the open or in progress JIRAs. So I do think those things are related. So please, I'll make another plea, yet another plea for take some time and review changes so that they can get merged in. And again, as changes, if you have patch sets out there that are no longer valid, please mark them as like a work in progress or abandon them. Just clean up the patch set list in Garrett. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Any questions about, I guess, JIRA or patch sets? All right.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, David. One query regarding the process, basically, you can say, now since so many things are going on, right? This UTs and there is another. So, are you planning to introduce something into the Jenkins job also for the SCA, or what is the plan on that? Because say today someone does an SCA for once and then something new comes. So,
Yeah.
how are we going to be sure on that part?
You broke up a little, and I think it might have been at my end, actually. So if I understood the question correctly, once we have the SCA lint capabilities or static code analysis capabilities that the repos are passing, we do need to add that to the Garrett or the Jenkins job so that code goes through that more detailed source code analysis. And we'll have to work with Zach to get that done. And see if he just wants to make that part of the lint target or if he wants to make that part of a separate target. If we want to make it just part of the lint target, we can update the make file where the lint target in the make file to add SCA as well.
So
I don't know
David,
if there's a best, yeah.
I merged a patch from Nihil on the Volta Go repo that enables SCA. And how you're describing it is exactly right. It would probably be best if we added it as a make target and then included it in with either the lint or the test targets. Just and I think we should do that on probably a repo by repo basis.
Yes.
And so as repos can pass the SCA test, then we enable it. The full list of SCA tooling, because all the tooling for that with GoLint, I forget, is it GoLint CI? I forget the exact tool name, but that it has a bunch of pluggable modules that it can be enabled. So we probably need somebody to come up with a recommended, here's the set that you should pass. And I don't think that's happened yet. I can look into that, but that also affects what we decide we want to pass affects when those targets can be enabled. And the
So right now we're just using defaults for the most part.
I believe so. There may be additional ones we can use. I know that over in Onos, or at least the Micro Onos project, they've done more research on this. So I'll see if they have a consensus they've come to on that.
Okay. All right, excellent. So there we go. As we get repos passing SCA, we'll add the SCA makefile target to the list of maybe lint, call it lint SCA. I guess right now it's mostly called SCA. And then add it to the lint target dependencies so that it'll automatically run. And that should capture us in Jenkins. Excellent. Any other comments, thoughts on that then, or on Jira patch sets area? Okay. If not, I'm going to jump over to the Stabilization Brigade dashboard. Good news, just to go over these kind of attention items. There's only 2 of them left. One is about running sanity tests end to end. I think actually Mateo's working on it, although Andy, your name's still assigned to it. But I did see some chatter about Mateo working on it. So I know that one is being at least worked on.
Yeah, he is working on that right now, and I'll go ahead and take my name off of that so that I don't get called on in these meetings.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And Mateo's also working on the second one. Is Mateo on the call? I don't know. Just curious if the second one it's still marked as verified, but I believe we know it is a valid bug, so that verify tag can probably be removed. Without him on the call, not much we can talk about it though. Are there any other JIRAs around here that people want to bring up or talk about, highlight?
Is Matt on the call? I'm just wondering because I think our Pi Volta stuff is pretty ready to go.
Matt was going to be late to the call, so he's probably going to be at least another 10 minutes or so.
Alrighty, I'll bring it up on Slack. But look, I've been working and he's been working to get Pi Volta up to Python 3, and I think we have working patch sets for that, for the ONU adapter and for the Pi Volta library code.
Have you looked at the OF agent yet at all?
We have not, or at least I have not. Maybe Matt has done that. Well, let's bring it up on Slack.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Don might be looking at writing that in Go if that's not already in progress.
He is working on writing it in Go. There was some conversation on some meeting I was on, I can't remember which one anymore, where the decision was kind of made to stick with the current Python OF agent until it's really ready to go and test it.
Okay. Yeah, and I was on a call with Matt yesterday, and he said the Pi Volta Python 3 stuff was actually going pretty quickly. So that sounded encouraging.
Yep, I agree. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll close the meeting off with one last comment. There'll be some important discussion at the 8 o'clock Pacific time TST. If you are observant, you can see one tab in my browser says Making Volta Simpler. That's going to be discussed at the TST, so there's a little bit of teaser for you. So please do attend that if possible as we go over some decisions that have been made on how Volta will go forward. And that'll be the end of the teaser. Any other comments, questions before we close off then? All right, if not, have a good day and hopefully see you guys in about a half an hour.